you very much for joining me this evening. I will quickly go through this with you in a second, and I've got a couple of school notices as well. I just need to keep refreshing this page until the live shows up. There we go. And then I can see who's here and who's chatting. So we want it on live chat. Thank you very much. And I need to refresh that page. Blah, 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 blah. And do that and save. And we want to be on that page. Thank you. Too many tabs open. Hi there, Cindy. Just going to tilt that a little bit further. There we go. Hi there, Kim. So to all our friends over the pond, I believe it's Mother's Day today for you guys. We have had our Mother's Day here in the UK already. So happy Mother's Day, one and all, over yonder. I hope you're all well, and well done, Cindy, for being awake. Oh dear. So as I said, I'm going to do sorry, I'm just picking some glue off my fingers. I'm going to do a quick flip through of this because this is the journal that I started on Friday night's live show. And oh, Dumbledore, go away. Hang on, I'm going to have to spray. Oh. Ooh, that's bad. And I've got a couple of school notices as well. So let's do the school notices first. Haven't answered, I don't think, any of the comments, maybe one comment on Friday night's live. So I need to go back and go and answer quite a lot. Sorry, I've got a bit of skin and glue that's bugging me. But thank you very much to the lady who informed us, and I can't remember the name now, that this lady, she's Dutch, not German as I thought, and she told us her name as well. Marjolaine, I don't know if that's how you say it, Marjolaine Bastan. There you go, but she's Dutch. I thought she was German, but she's not. The other thing that I wanted to quickly mention is that if you are watching any of the old videos of mine, and you'll only know what to do if you've watched this one, not if you've watched just the old ones. Hi there, Vivian. There is no longer a Carol Tinson group. And it's got the links in the old videos to the Carol Tinson group. Unfortunately, I am not going to go through 600 and odd videos to go and change that link. I closed the group down. You can still see the group, but there's no point trying to join it. And in fact, I put a post upon it saying, this group is no longer alive. It's gone to sleep. So I do have a Facebook page. So on the group, you had to answer 3 questions to be able to join. On the page, you don't have to do that, but you can either like, I've got the other option, not subscribe. Anyway, you get a choice of 2 things that you can do. And again, there is a post at the top of the page, which is there for everyone to see when they first go on, about the 2 different options. Is it join? Okay, thank you, Kim. Could be. So you have a choice of doing either or. If you do the second one, which is the word that I can't remember, you will get more notifications because I just haven't got the time to run a group. at the moment. Okay, so let me have a quick look and see if I can see it. Facebook, there we go. So you can either like or follow, and if you follow, you'll get all the notifications. I'm not sure what notifications you get if you just click like. And also on the 1st of each month, I put up a post that you can then add pictures to it of any items that you've made with regard to anything that I've taught, any of my digital kits, so on and so forth. But it has to be me related. Because on a page, you physically cannot post on there. So you have to go to the post for each month and go into the comments and put your picture and what it is that you've done in the comments. Okay, so that's my school notices done. This, as I say, was a journal that I started on Friday evening and I finished it by Saturday night. I sat here all day Saturday, apart from taking the dog out, going to the toilet and getting something to eat. But I sat here all day just working on this little journal. And I don't know why, but there was something that just clicked and I just went dink, 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 dink. I knew exactly what I wanted to create from the bits and pieces that I'd got. Oh, another thing I need to clarify as well. So the bits and pieces that I used were from, oh blimey, forgotten her name now, Seven Plaza. But these pages, the torn pages, the torn paper, is a digital kit of mine. Because there was a lady again asking on Friday's video. So the torn pages are mine on my Ko-fi shop, and the link should be in the description box beneath this video. But the little bits and pieces, which you'll see in a minute, were from Seven Plaza. All right, so these were mine, and I'll show you some more in a minute. So I changed the picture on the front. I went for a different picture because I felt that it went better with the background paper. So that's the front, that's the back, and this is a journal that I made using another video that I did about the easiest journal I've ever made. And so I'd got several different versions made up to show everyone, and so I've put two of the versions together and made this. And it's got some seam binding as the closure, and then as we open it up, it's got this big pocket here. Now, as you can see, this is another one of my torn pages, torn papers. All right, and on Friday night we made, or I made, less of the we, Carol, less of the we. There was no one else in this room bar me. So again, these were the torn pages from my digital kit, and we made these. I've done it again, I've not. I made these little journaling cards, and I put some lined paper on the back of them. So they slot into that big pocket there. This and all these little bits and the bits that you'll see on the next page were from Seven Plaza. Okay, so they slot in there. Then there's a long tag there, Seven Plaza. Little band there, little tuck spot there to sit that tag in so it doesn't fall out, Seven Plaza. Carol Tinson. Marja, oh hang on, I've forgotten her name again. Marjoline. I'm just going to say Marjoline. Marjoline image. And again, there's a big tag in the top there, just with some plain card on the back. And then this opens up, and all these bits here were from Seven Plaza. Right, so I made these two into pockets. So this one holds a tag, 7 Plaza. And that slots in there. And then in this one here, there's another little field notes card. I added one of the little cards here and did a little side tuck spot tag. And then in the top there's a pocket, and in the top pocket I put one of the really big tags in there, and these were from Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and attached a long tag and then put a pocket on the back there and did some stamping on it. So that sits in that big pocket. And then there's a pocket underneath here, and I put, what did I put in there? Oh yeah, I put some specialist paper in there. And then on this side, this was a 7 Plaza belly band. Now this was from another digital kit from someone else, and I'm really sorry, but I can't remember whose it was off the top of my head. If I find it again, I'll let you know. But it's one that I'd got printed off, and then you turn it over and it's like a big specimen type thing, and then it says pull here, so you pull on that and that comes out, and then there's some journaling paper on the back, so that just slots back in there, and that sits under there. I think I made this into a double belly band, so you could actually tuck, just get that, you could tuck something underneath that bit as well. And then that closes shut, and then that flips over. And again, this is another one of my torn papers. This was an image, can't remember from where. There's a tuck spot underneath them lilies. No, not lilies. Are they lilies? Anyway, whatever. And then I added another journaling card underneath there as well. Now I left the coffee dyed papers in the middle blank, but what I did do was I did the book page edge there on every other page, and I added a tab on every other page. Iris, that was the word. Thank you. I knew someone would know. Okay, so book page edge, but all left blank so that you can do your own thing. Another tab, book page, and another tab, so that if you want to stamp any numbers or anything on that, then you can do. Now, I originally attached the coffee dyed papers with some elastic, but I also added some thin green cord as well to give it that little bit of extra support, so you can choose one or t'other. So that's the coffee dyed pages done. I did trim them down because they were overhanging the edge a little bit, so I did actually trim them down. So then we come to the back of the journal, which is the opposite of what was at the front. So I did a big pocket here, and I did a journaling card and some extra bits and pieces on it, stamped the figure 1, 2 and 3 on there, and then just a blank card on the back. Oh, sorry, yes, and I also made it so that it was a pocket. And then I added another one of these little bars here at the bottom and put several tags in there, so I'll show you them over there. So I put those tags in that pocket and did a bit of stamping there. So the bigger ones were at the back and the smaller ones were at the front. Alright, so then we flip that over properly. Yeah, that's better. Flip that over. Did a double belly band again here. Did 2 of the Ephemera's Vintage Garden tags with little mini tags attached. Bring it down a bit, Carol, and then people can see. And then when you turn it over, there's a pocket on the back of each one. So I'll put those away in a sec. And as I say, I did it as a double belly band, so there's 2 little journaling cards tucked underneath that one. So I have to be careful about how I put these big tags back in. Let me take them out. I have to put it in from the bottom because of the pockets on the back. There we go. So they cross over somewhat. And then they sit under there and there. And then that flips open. And so you've got a pocket in here. Ooh, pocket in there. And I put some fancy paper in there. And then I added another one of my cards on there and added 2 long tags. And this I made into a big pocket, so you could put something in that big pocket. Hi there, Sandra. Just home from church and waiting for the food to arrive. 2 dogs, no children, but caregiver for my mum. How nice, waiting for food. So I did very similar on this page as I did at the front, in that I added 2 of the field notes cards, and I put some paper behind each one. I won't pull that one out, so there's paper behind there as well. Did a band there, and then did these 3 little tags to go in that belly band at the bottom, and then in the pocket on this side there's 2 more of the cards that I made on Friday night, so they go in there. And then in the top up here, there's a big, I'm not going to really pull this out, there's a big paper envelope in there which isn't glued down as an envelope, it opens out, and I put loads of journaling cards and things in there and some bits of paper, and so that closes up. You need to come on in, and then that is the back cover. So there you go. Nice and quick and easy to do it was. As I say, I'd been looking at those things from Seven Plaza for quite a while and thinking, oh, I can't wait to use those. So I think I must have had a little bit of an inkling in my mind as to what I wanted to do, and that's why it ended up being quite a quick journal to make. But yeah, so there you go. Did it in a day, let's say a day, day and a half. Anyway, I wanted to show you that, but I want to get on to leftover digital kits. Let me just have a slurp of tea. Because I finished my Ink and Pages journal. Let me just, hang on. I'm not going to flip through this one. But I finished it. She ended up being quite chunky. So yeah, so I finished this, but I've ended up with all of these leftover papers. So I keep everything in these plastic wallets, which if you're a regular viewer, you'll know, you will have seen these before. So I keep all my bits and pieces in there, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I have so many of these wallets with leftover bits and pieces in that I will probably never go back to. So I thought, this is ridiculous. I've got too many pages left here, and I can't afford to just you know, waste this ink and paper for having printed them all off. So those are the full pages. So I'll split them down into sections. Those are the full pages. These are all the like half mini pages. These are all the odds and sods. Some more odds and sods. There we go. And then these are all my scraps. Well, the scraps I kind of know what to do with, because I can put those in my diary, and I can add some of these, the odds and sods bits, on top to make a really nice collage. So that's what I'm going to do with those, and that's what I'll end up doing with some of these, the odds and sods bits. But I came up with a little plan. I say I came up with a little plan. I was actually looking through some old magazines today. Hi there, Becky. I was looking through some old magazines today to see if I wanted to keep them or not, and I saw this idea, and I thought, ooh, actually, I could do that with some of those leftover bits and pieces. So with all of these, some of them are going to be junk journal pages, and I'm going to cut out all the white edges and fold them in half, and they'll be junk journal pages. The half pages are ideal for tags, but I can also make one of these, if not a couple of these. So that's what I'm going to do now. Because as most of you know, again, if you've been watching along with my videos this year, I have a box that is full of paper that I folded in half, ready to make up into signatures. So it means that whatever I've got left over from here, I can put those with those papers, and I can actually make up a journal quite quickly with all the leftovers and that box of other papers. So that's what I'm going to do. So my initial thought was, I want the full pages first. So I want a nice full page, and I thought about using one of my faves. That's one of my favourites. Helps if you have it the right way up. That is one of my favourites. I just love the colour combination and the balance of colour in that one. There we go. But this one is one of my other favourites. So first things first, trim off the white edges. I have been sat start again. I got up at 6:30 this morning, and my friend said, have you missed the bed? Because for the past 4 days I've been getting up, for me, at the crack of dawn. Normally I'm a 9-10 o'clock in the morning kind of girl getting up, and I've been getting up really early. And so I took the dog out for a walk, I made myself a cup of tea, and I've been sat at my computer downstairs all day, apart from taking the dog out and getting something to eat. And so I'm surprised that I'm able to do this, because I should really be jiggery-pokered. So I have no measurements for this, by the way. I'm making this up as I go along. So what was I going to say? So yeah, I've been at the computer downstairs all day making up the digital kits ready for the membership that I'm going to do, the subscription membership that I'm going to do on my Ko-fi shop. Right, so I better explain to you what I'm doing, hadn't I, rather than just doing it. So I've got this sheet of paper cut out. Now I can already tell that it's too big, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half so that the pattern is the right way up. And I want it lengthways. All right, so I'm not folding it that way, I'm folding it lengthways on. Now these are going to make the pockets and they're too deep, so I think that if I trim some of that off and make it right, I think probably about there. So what's that? Oh, just under 3 inches. Is that about right? No, maybe a bit more. Maybe 2.5 inches deep, thereabouts. Yeah, 2.5 inches deep. And I can add those to my scraps pile, so they can go and do a bit of collaging. Right. I haven't read any of the instructions on that. I'm just making this up as I say as I'm going along. Right, so that's now folded in half to make the pockets, and then I'm going to fold it in half again. No, I want it folding the other way. That's it. So this is the back, and I'm folding it in half so that it's back to back. I might find that useful. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this over there. Now I want to go just slightly beyond that fold because there's going to be glue down here, so it's going to make the pocket slightly smaller, and I want the pockets round about the same size. Okay, and the same with the other side. Just fold it slightly beyond halfway, slightly beyond that fold. So that I've got that. It's that way around, yeah. So that the mounting fold here is on the front side of the paper, because the back side, the pattern's upside down. Right, so the mounting fold is on this side, on the right side of the paper. Next thing I want to do is I want to put some thumb holes in. So that's the front, and I've now got 4 sections, so I want 4 thumb holes. So maybe about there. Maybe about there. Maybe about there. And maybe about there. These might not be very central. But you know, it's all good fun just making stuff, isn't it? Right, so ink it up. Hi there, lovelies Crafting Lodge. I got a happy Mother's Day text from my son and my friend from Colorado. That's nice. Now I've put a new sponge on my dauber, and I've filled this up with ink earlier, so it's a bit fresh. Okay, so I've got to be careful because it could just suddenly splodge. Yeah, a bit heavy-handed on that bit, Carol, but never mind. Okay, fold that back in half and we'll do that bit. And then we'll do the mounting fold. And the valley folds, I'm going to have to push in the opposite direction just for a minute whilst I ink it up. And then push it back. Push it up, ink it up, push it back. Okay, and then I want to do that top white edge. So what project are you all working on at the moment, if any? I'm just inking that white up because it might show through. And at least with the ink on it won't show as much. I'll do a little bit extra where those thumb holes are. Okay. So, glue. I want to section off each of the pockets, so I'm just going to open it up and I want to put some glue on that fold line there. Just a really thin line. And there. And there. And then on each of the ends. And then put it down, and that should all stick together nicely and make some lovely pockets. Been working on graduation and Christmas cards. Shoo! Kim's put I have a few on the go. Go on then, Kim, name them. So, mountain fold, valley fold, valley fold. And they've all now got their own individual little pockets. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side for a sec. And that glue can be going off. And then I'm going to use 2 of these. Well, maybe 4 of these. So they're quite big. Lovely, but big. So I might make just individual tags with these. Let me just lift that up just a little because I'm not getting everything in shot, am I? So the really big ones, I might make just really large tags with those. So we'll put those to one side, and I might use these part pages, half pages. Ooh, do I do 2 the same or 2 different? So they're quite big as well, aren't they? So they're sort of them sizes. So that's another 2 big tags. Okay. And for some reason I printed off 3. 1, 2, 3 of the same page. God knows how that happened. I might use that one and that one to make my 2 large tags. A wedding journal for a friend's sister. My creator journal, my own version of the star catcher, and a Christmas recipe journal. Ooh, lots on the go. Oh, didn't want to cut that. I wanted to glue it up first. Not a hardship. And in fact, yeah, glue that one and that one up first and then cut them out. So I want some card. And I can just use plain card because I could decorate the back of these. So I'm just going to trim off some of that excess white, and then I'm not wasting a whole ton of glue. Can't fit a 3rd one on there. Shame. Okay. Call out. Tell me about it. The cards were for our friends, twins, graduating from college. Well, that's a mouthful. Friends, twins. So that means you got 2 on the go. Cool. Right. Smother this with my collal. put that on there. Give it a nice squidge. And then a piece for that. Cut off a bit of that excess. Stick this one down. You see, in recorded videos, you don't get to see all this bit. This bit gets edited out. Oh heck, just went over the edge. Right, and you can go on there. Now at the same time, I'm going to back this piece of card with a full sheet. Look, I'm messing up my piles already. Little ones, bigger ones, full pages. And I might use one of the florals. Maybe that one. Ooh, well that one. I'm going to get that one. Right. Keep your piles in order, Carol. Now trim off the white edge on that. And I think I only need to trim maybe two sides. So that's why I'm just going to knuckle down and just try and get as many finished as I can, because there was the other Ink and Pages journal that I started as well. Was it Make-A-Wish? Something like that. And I've got 2 of those on the go. So they're next on my list to be working on when I'm not on here. Okay, let's just do a bit of jiggery pokering. Oh, there might have to be 2. I'm going to have to cut it out and then stick it on, because there's not going to be enough of it otherwise. So we'll cut you out. You don't need. You do need. So we'll roughly cut you out. As well as about 50 other journals that I've got on the go from, you know, before I was poorly. Right, so now I can fit those on the back. Okay, happy bunny now. Trim a bit of that off. That's it, do that, turn that. Get that, glue that. Hello there, Jane. You're only 30 minutes late. It's a good job we're not relying on you for transport, isn't it? Otherwise, everyone at the bus stop would not be happy with you. They'd be like, where have you been, driver? So that's going to go there. And this is going to go here. Ooh, missed. And you can go there. Don't want to squidge too hard because I don't want to push all my glue out. See, it's squidging out. Ooh, dare I do that? Tell you what, let's do it that way. So at least with the lives you get to see warts and all, whereas again with the recorded, all the rubbish bits get knocked out. So at least you haven't got to endure that. Right, so I would normally wait for this glue to dry a little. It's still really too wet, but at least I can kind of judge size wise how much I need to trim it down. If at all. One down. Yeah, so as I say, all those little fiddly fussy bits I'm going to glue onto some backing card, and I'm going to sit, I might do that tonight actually, sit and fussy cut them out, all out, so they're not taking up as much room, and then they're done, because again it's one of those issues that if I just leave them I will never ever ever use them, and that would be such a waste. So I am going to try my best to do this with every full digital kit that I now use, because as I said the other night, I've reached the point of I've had enough of going through my stuff and going, really Carol, really, you're keeping that? So they will sit like that. So in actual fact, those tags are probably going to be all right. And in fact, I think if I turn that round, because I can angle that off, whereas if I angled that bottom edge, I'd be cutting off that flower. So that will sit like that. Do it maybe a bit lower down. Yep, happy with that, okay. So I don't need to trim these down in height. And I can just trim off. Do I want to do that side or do I want that size? We'll do the bigger dramatic size. Oh, and in fact I've got some blue seam binding at the side of me, so that's handy. And all I need to do is find my ribbon punch. Oh, it's there, that's at the side of me as well. See, it was all meant to be, this, all meant to be. Okay, I'm going to ink those up. Not that they really need it because of it being so dark, but it will just, can you see, look, there's like a cream edge there. So at least it kind of gets rid of that bit. Just check the other side. Balance it out. Okay, one. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. At least I'm not sat here with my tongue hanging out like I normally do out the side of my mouth as I'm consecrating. Okay. Ribbon punch. And for those who ask, I don't know. I always get asked, where did you get the ribbon punch from? It was someone who was clearing out all the craft goods. Oh. There we go. And it has no name on it. But if you just search ribbon punch, they tend to come up. But they're not easy to get hold of, I have to say, because I've looked for other people. Oh. Come on. There we go. It's because it's going through three thicknesses. Now I could stitch around those, but I'm not gonna. There's me blue. That looked lovely. So I'm going to attach these next. So I think to have them nearer the bottom, because then I can put quite long tags inside of these pockets. So how to do this? If I fold that up, place that on there centrally. Yes, and then glue on that side and sit that on top so it lines up with that tag. Sounds like a plan. Okay. And if I fluff it up, well, it's only paper. Okay. So I reckon about there, roughly in the middle, about what, an inch from the bottom, sort of ish. I'll just hold that a minute because that's going to slip. Hi there, Arta. Yeah, you see, we had our Mother's Day the other month. When did we have ours? Was it March? March we had our Mother's Day. Okay, a little bit of seepage going on there. See, it's still shifting. Just going to leave that a second. Okay, I'm going to be careful. I'm going to plod on, but be careful. So if I put glue on that pocket, maybe don't put as much on, Carol. Seepage going on there, and then if I sit this tag, hang on, I'm gonna have to bring this closer to me so I might be out of shot, and then sit that tag on top of the other tag, There. Now I'm going to have to hold that for a bit. Hopefully that won't slip too much. Okay, let's try it. So then when you open it up, it does that. Yay! And then I could put 4 tags inside of there. How good's that? Liking that. I could even actually put almost like a spine on the back side so that, you know, it's not doing that. I could put a spine on the back. Might do that. Not now. Oh, in fact, I might, because look, I've got that leftover bit of paper. Nothing on the other side though. No, I'm not going to do that now, but I might end up doing that. And then put some ribbon through. Enough to make a bow. Oh, it's a bit of a rubbish end. Turn it round. Alright, so that's that one. And come hither, thither, dither. There we go. Turn it back round and do a bow. Okay, one done. Two done. And then, move my paper trimmer a minute. Thank you, Becky. From the odds and sods pages, let me just pull all them out. Put them away. Put that away over there. There were these squares that I was like, what on earth am I going to do with them? Well, one was to do a concertinary thing. That way. Yeah, so that would sit on the page, and then that would then concertina out. But I also thought these could go on the front of the pockets, just as an added declaration. See, it's the same with these little rectangular ones. I was a bit like, oh, I don't know what to do with them. So I was a bit of a loss with them. But then there's the jars. So, you know, I could put one of the jars there, and then the latest page, wherever you may be, you're there. it had got flowers and some really pretty little vases. So instead of a jar, I thought about putting a vase on each end. I could even put a flower on each of the 4 pockets. But I need to back that with card and then fussy cut all of those out. So it's a toss-up between these bits or these bits, just to add as decoration. And I suppose I could just do this, as seeing as we're here now, because then I'm using them up, because I can always make another one of these. You saw it's quite quick to make. So let's cut all these out. And you want 4, don't I? Yeah, 4. Let's have you, because you're pretty. And we'll have you. So that's 3. And I reckon we'll go with the jar. So that's 4. And I've only got 1 square to think about. All right, now then. Do I want to corner around those, or am I just, you know what, I'm just going to leave it. Why make work for yourself, Carol? I mean, I could, at a push, add it as a pocket. But like I've said before, the problem with having pocket after pocket after pocket is you've got to fill it up with something. So I'm just going to put them on as a bit of decoration. And then, as I say, I think if I fussy cut those jars out, put you there, because if I'm going to put a jar here, I want 2 jars together. Trim that little bit off. Could even put those bigger jars actually in the pocket. 2. 3. 4. Okay. Let's use you, because I don't want masses of glue on. And that collal at the minute is just oozing out the side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, bit through the middle, and that'll do me. Pretty jar. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a bit through the middle. One, 2, 3, 4, middle. Oh, which way around do you go? That way. Me like. Oh! No one noticed, have they? I've used the wrong side. That was meant to be on this side. 4.5 mil. Fortunately, it don't matter because the other side's pretty, so it means that it will be visible. That way around. So fortunately, that will be like the front side. So I could actually, again, fussy cut some of these out, stick that on the front, and that's using some of that up. I might need to put a bow on this side as well. So all I need to do is make some tags to then sit inside of, fussy cut some of those jars out and maybe add them there and there, and that's it, job's a good one. So I'm not going to make the little tags now because, you know, I've got to wait for glue to dry, stick it on card, cut it out, blah, 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 blah. But you get the gist, don't you, of how that works. And as I say, I think that I might add a spine on the back so that it doesn't open too wide. I could even actually, if I fold that in half, do it that way. And then I might have solved my problem with the spine. Let me just try that. I mean, really, anyone else would have taken this to the scoreboard and scored it. No, not me. Okay. Ooh, will it be long enough though? Yes, it will, because I need to chop that bit off at the bottom. Right, so let's glue that up. And we'll see if this will work. Trim off the excess. And then that's a strip used up. Ink it up. Yeah, I think I'll make another one of these up because it's quite quick. So we've been here for an hour, and I had a chat, showed you the journal, and have made this. So I reckon it'd be quite easy to make a couple of these in an hour. The other end I need to trim. Okay, so I am actually going to get my scoreboard out because that's going to be difficult to fold. So let's put in the middle ish. One, two, three. It's on the fourth one. 1, 2, 3. It's on the fourth one. Perfect. Come on. Come on out. It's not done it enough. Let me just use this tool. Which way are you going to bend? Okay, let's give that a go. Ooh, dropping it in my ink. Here you are, all quiet. Is it because you're watching intently? You're watching so intently that no one noticed that I put that tag on the wrong way round. Ooh, don't bend it, Carol. Okay. So. Oh, that's going to make it quite narrow though, isn't it? Let me just think. Let me just think a minute. I want it flat. So then, this is what happens when you make things up as you go along. So then I'll put that there, right on the edge. And that there, so that that's right on the edge. And it means that when I close it, there'll be a little bit protruding out. That's right, isn't it? So that would go on there. But at least it's keeping it all together. I can cope with a bit protruding out. Alright. Right. It's complicated stuff, this, you know. Making it up as you go along. That's how come you then end up with tags on the wrong way round. Okay. So, sit you down there. And then sit you on there. Don't squidge, mate, don't squidge. Don't want no squidging. The concentration. Ta-da! I'm having a squidgy day. Oh, I'm always having a squidgy day. Okay. So. Shh, food arrived. I'm still watching. So, hopefully, that should close like so. Didn't quite get it even enough. I think I might have to mess about with that a little bit when that's dry. But you see what I mean by there's a little bit sticky out. Oh, that didn't stick down, so I need to re-stick that. But I'm alright with that. If I cut that off at an angle so it follows on from the tag, I'll end up with a V in the middle there. Okay. But yeah, quite happy with that. And I think by the time I put the other 4 tags in, put those 2 bottles on the edge, I think that will make quite an unusual tag to add to a journal. I have to stick that bit down, that's going to drive me nuts. Oh, fried chicken. Stop it, because I can't eat this food anymore. I've got to watch what I'm eating. Okay, stick you down. Hold on to you a bit. So yeah, so as I say, that's an item made. Ooh, stay there. All my little bits I'm going to stick to card, and I'm going to sit and fussy cut those out. The pages, I'm going to trim off the white edges, and some of them will be pages. I might even, because these aren't cut, print on the back of some of these. I'll choose some more papers to make another one of these. Oh, there is one other thing that I'm going to show you before I go. Because where's all those half pages gone? That's the full pages. That's the odds and sods. In fact, one of these big ones will do it. And in fact, well, that's boring. So I'm not going to use you. I'm going to use you. So these larger ones that I said I could make into big tags, and the smaller ones which I can make into slightly smaller tags. There is also, and I would need to line this with paper, and I have got some paper off to the side ready, but just to save on time, I'm just going to demonstrate this one. So, if you remember, the top becomes the bottom and the bottom becomes the top. So if I fold that up like that, and I fold that over like that, made a nice quick envelope. So, as I say, I would line this, and then I might even cut a little notch in there. But I've then made, well, I will have made a couple of cute envelopes. Let's do it with this one. So the top becomes the bottom and the bottom becomes the top. Don't want it that way around. Or the top becomes the bottom and the bottom becomes the top. Oh, so if I do a little pocket and do a big top, I get to fit that compassy bit in. There you go. 2 envelopes made. 1 unusual tag thing for tags. Yeah. And then big tags, fussy cutting, journal pages, and then with the scraps I'm going to do some collage pages. So guess what I'm doing tomorrow? So hopefully I'll be with you on Wednesday, but my friend is going on holiday and I'm dog sitting as from Tuesday night. So it depends how shattered I am from taking them out, from 2 dogs out for so many walks. I'll see about Wednesday, but whenever I come back, either Wednesday or next Friday, I'll show you what I've made with all the leftover bits. And then I haven't got a bag stuffed with papers that will sit on my shelf forever and a day, and then I can make up a quick journal, because then I'll have all the things already made. So it sounds like jobs are good to me. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed watching me make. I love that. I really like that. Yeah, I even like it. I prefer it, I think, with the spine on. Don't like that bit though. I have to do something with that bit. Yeah, something a bit different, isn't it? So thank you very much for joining me. Please go and hit the like button. Please leave me a comment, because that does me a lot of good. Tomorrow I'm going to be answering all the comments on Friday's video as well. And if you can share the video, that would be lovely. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your Mother's Day over the pond. For those who are not over the pond, I hope you enjoyed the rest of your afternoon stroke evening. I need to go and get something to eat, actually. And I'll see you all again really soon. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Ciao, arrivederci. Adios, amigos. I remembered it this time. Auf Wiedersehen and au revoir. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye.